Have you ever felt like your voice disappears in tough moments? Like when you're in the doctor's office, overwhelmed by fertility challenges? Or when someone asks the dreaded question, when are you going to start a family? How do you stay confident when everything feels out of control? And more importantly, how does your voice, both the one you use out loud and the one inside your head, play a role in reclaiming that confidence? Today on the show, we're diving into these questions with voice confident coach Julia Miles. Julia shares her own fertility journey and reveals powerful techniques to help you sound confident even when you're not feeling it. From breathing exercises to handling awkward conversations with grace, this episode is packed with insights to help you navigate fertility challenges and beyond. Stay tuned. We're answering the question: how can you use your voice as a tool to regain confidence during one of the hardest journeys of your life?
Welcome to Fertility and Wholeness Podcast. Are you tired of seeing that test be negative month after month? Will you ever stop having to take test after test? Are you scared of all the medical terminology, office visits, and misinformation you see at every turn on your infertility journey? If you answer yes to any of those, you're not alone. You are at the right place. I'm so happy you're here with us. My name is Ariana. I'm a fertility care practitioner and a wholeness coach with over a decade of experience on the field. I created this podcast because I know what it is to feel alone and lost while navigating fertility problems. And after helping hundreds of women, teaching them how to not protract their cycles, boost their fertility, and navigate their monthly emotional roller coaster and get pregnant naturally, I am on a mission to empower women to take charge of their fertility journey. In this podcast, you will find heartfelt conversations, education, tips on how to take care of and understand your fertility, emotional support, simple lifestyle changes to boost your fertility, nutrition, self-care routines, tips for handling stress and anxiety with ease. We have amazing, exciting expert interviews and guests, inspirational stories, and practical advice on preparing for pregnancy and joyful delivery. Are you ready to reclaim your health, your life, and become pregnant naturally? If so, grab your green juice and prenatal vitamins. This episode is just what the doctor ordered.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Where do you want to start?
All right. So I know a little bit about you. I know you're a voice confident coach, that you help women with their voice and to be in the workplace in different areas, especially entrepreneur women. But when I met you recently, you actually caught my attention. And one of the things it caught my attention actually was that so many women go through the fertility journey, and as they're going through any of the fertility challenges, they lose confidence. And the confidence also comes across in their voice when they're asking doctors or any medical professional for more testing or anything to be looked up, and how that affects how they view themselves. Can you share with us what can they do, tips and tricks, anything that relates to them?
Great. Well, firstly, a little bit about me. And I can completely relate to what you've said there. Something as a voice and confidence speaker coach myself, women come to me and I am aware it can be deep work where life circumstances, without us even realizing, have silenced ourselves, have quietened the strength of our physical voice. And inside, how we treat ourselves, how we speak to ourselves can equally be less confident, not as nice, and there's work to be done. I know through my journey, having had miscarriages and a late miscarriage with multiple births, which was very traumatic, and having to go through that situation and have all those doctor's appointments along that fertility journey, it's a tough journey. And in that, it's very easy to feel all alone and to feel like the rest of the world doesn't get it. You're in a parallel universe dealing with this deeply personal journey. And in that, it's very easy for us to turn in on ourselves, and our physical voice becomes quieter. And sometimes we don't realize this till later on. For me, I didn't notice it at the time, but I withdrew in my work. At the time, I was a director at the BBC. It was hard to keep up that front of being all together. And without us realizing, it can eat our confidence up. And that in turn can be heard through the sound of our voice. So I could say, hi. If I speak now with what I call your voice of authority, I can say, hello, my name is Julia, and I'm a confident speaker coach. But then I would have gone, hi, I'm Julia, and I'm a confident speaker coach. In fact, then I was a director, but my whole voice sounded weaker. So that's one area we can work on, is to prevent that from happening. And the second one is our inner voice and how we're talking to ourselves, because it's really easy through all the doctor's appointments to worry and go, no, what does this mean? And we're looking at tiny little details and factors in those doctor's appointments. We're hypersensitive to everything going on in our body. And yet we're not so sensitive to how we're talking to ourselves. And we need to come with great compassion and great love in that inner voice, and watch when that inner voice is being really hard on you and telling you you're not good enough and your body's no good, etc., etc. We don't want to go down that avenue. It's not helpful. So what can we do? Thing for the physical voice, the outer voice, as we're speaking to everybody else. And this is important for you to know that your voice really matters. It matters in every appointment, in as you talk to a partner, in your work life. We want to keep those things building and staying strong and not let them all fall apart. And I think I probably did let things fall apart a bit because it was so personal and deeply moving that I was led by my emotions and everything just sort of caved around me. And I don't want that to happen to you. I don't. And one thing we can do is to really connect with breath. So 50% of voice is breath. So here's a wonderful trick for you. If you're able to breathe deeply, you put your hand on your tummy and simply just breathe into the belly. You'll be used to this if you've been doing yoga or any of breath work. Breathe in and then speak on the out breath. Hello, my name is Julia. What happens is you will hear a beautiful, richer, stronger voice will come through. Okay? Because what happens is often if we're stressed, we're worried, we're concerned, our whole body tightens up. We're drawing ourselves into ourselves. If we're hovering over a laptop or a phone as well, physically we're taking up less space. And what we're doing is we're restricting how much breath we get, which in turn is restricting how much air is coming to our voice. So first thing, just push your shoulders back a little bit. A lovely aligned posture, breath into the belly. I have teenage girls who in school can't speak up in class, right? They're nervous, and they found this really useful. You literally put your hand on your tummy and it's under the desk at school. But I've had people of all ages do this, folks, and it works. And then just to remind you, we're breathing into the belly, connecting with all of you. And I know the tummy is very sensitive. You're very in tune with that part of your body on this journey. And let the voice, the breath, go right down and then speak on the out breath. Do you get this, Ariana?
I do. I kept thinking of someone walking into a clinic, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And how important it is to take a deep breath and to breathe through it. That's sometimes all we can do, right? And we hold our breath a lot. And how that also raises our cortisol levels, which is not good for hormones.
Okay.
And so I can see how all connects, not only those peaks of stress through the day take away our energy, right? And like, as you're saying, our thoughts and our inner dialogue plays a role. So remembering to breathe and how our breath carries on our voice. So can you speak more of that?
Okay. So what's wonderful about this is it allows you to sound confident even when you're not. And it's a little trick for you. And I would encourage you to use it and to know you are allowed to have the voice of confidence, even if whatever is happening on your fertility journey is happening. We can still sound confident at work. We can still sound confident, absolutely, when you're talking to doctors and in a medical situation and with your partner, if there is one in the scenario. So that's the first thing, is really just to watch that. If you're struggling, no, it's okay. Just come with compassion. But I think for me on that journey, there's so many things to be thinking about. And you're probably going, Julia, really? Have I got to think about my voice as well as everything else? Mm-hmm. And I want you to see it as not an extra thing that you have to do, but a tool to help you lead you on this journey through. To sound confidence. Now, when we've got the physical voice sounding confidence, and we're simply doing that with powering it up with more breath, then we can apply that to how we're talking to ourselves. When we get used to hearing ourselves sounding more confident, which we still need to do. We want to stay in that frame of positivity, even when I understand it's really hard sometimes to find that positivity where if things are looking the opposite. But with intention, we want to lean in to that voice of confidence. And for you, my gift is you to understand that voice is always there to serve you. And when we hear that sound, it's then again reassuring to us. It's okay, I've not completely lost the plot. And boy, did I feel like I had sometimes. But it's like, it's okay. I'm still there. This confident me is still present. The sound of confidence is always with you. And sometimes that's helpful to help you keep control on a journey that probably feels, for me, it felt very out of my control. How does that land?
Our fertility journey, it affects all areas of our life, not just one area, not just one organ, if we can say that too. Because sometimes we, like you're saying, we get so narrow into one thing and how is affecting us in all areas of our lives. I know you do coaching for women that are entrepreneurs. And so a lot of my clients or a lot of women that are listening right now, voice effect is not just going into the fertility, it's carrying on to other areas of their life. Obviously, if you lose your confidence in your voice, you're not losing it just talking to the doctor. You're losing it in all the areas of your life. So how do you help women? They're actually in the workforce. Most women are in the workforce. They're doing something, whether they're working in a factory or entrepreneurs. They have to carry on those conversations. And sometimes those conversations turn into something very weird, which is, when are you going to have a family? When are you going to get pregnant? There's a very specific conversation, but how do you parallel this confidence that sometimes we're like, okay, yeah, that's through the fertility, doesn't really matter, but it is affecting all areas, even your work, your performance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that question about having a family, when other people ask you, for me, it felt like I was having knives put in me. So don't go there. It can be so sensitive, but we can't run away from that. And I think we have to be prepared. Now, with high insight, I can say this, but we can, and I would, with entrepreneurs in different situations, again, we can prepare for that moment, because I'm really sorry, but it's probably going to happen. And in that, decide in advance how you want to respond to that. And no, this is a moment I need mighty courage to speak and use my voice. Mighty courage. So I am going to connect with my breath as I speak my answer. And your answer can be changing the conversation. It can be whatever tactic you want. I have to leave the room now. There are many options to how you answer that question. Might be helpful for you to think about how you want to handle answering that. And in that, just that little momentary thought, I know you don't want to have to answer it. It's just to think it through and going, okay, I can do it. my flat answer, my stock answer to this is always going to be blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to say it with such confidence, it just deflects and we're on to the next conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I think preparing for the question, but I have heard women say, I avoid this social event altogether. So they even isolate even more because they're protecting themselves too. So having that prepare in advance, having that thought, like this is how I'm going to respond and this is how I'm going to move into the next thing, I think it's useful for them so they're not caught up into an awkward conversation and having to answer to something that is already very sensitive for them.
And it will happen, because I remember being at a dinner party at a table with another couple. I had lost twins and there were a couple had been invited who had twin boys. So it was my absolute nightmare. But we have to find our way through those situations. And it absolutely rocked me. So if we can do any preparation, not for a make others feel better, but to support ourselves through it. And in that situation, I'd say, Julia, now just go to the loo. I'd do a power pose. Do you know about power posing, Ariana?
No, I don't. Can you explain what that is?
So power posing is, you can watch Amy Cuddy's TED Talk about it, one of the most watched TED Talks. Power posing is where you literally stand. I know you're going to think I'm a bit mad, but you're going to stand really strong like a superhero for 2 minutes. Now you have to do 2 minutes, okay? I've had so many different women do this in the loos before talking, before interviews, before anything. Maybe before you get results. But if you do that for 2 minutes, you're physically sending your body signals that you're feeling strong and confident, even when you're not. That's really important. After 2 minutes, people who did that, it was proven they were more successful in a nerve-wracking situation. So it's like, oh, that's good. I'd like some of that.
Yeah, especially if it's only 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah, and I sometimes put really empowering music to it as well. But before I do interviews, before I speak, I would use that. But going into a challenging situation, that is a really useful tool. It rescues me quite a few times. So I think that's a good one to do.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Julia, for sharing with us a little bit of your journey, the work that you do. So now moving a little bit into the work that you do, share with us your services, what you do, how you offer your services, and how can women find you?
Thank you. So I'm a voice and confidence speaker coach, and I'm passionate about helping women to develop their voice of leadership and influence, mainly in the workplace or entrepreneurs and business owners working from home and being on camera. I do one-to-one coaching and group programs, very much leaning in to encourage you to be the star you are. You can find me on LinkedIn and my web is juliamiles.com. And you can email me at julia@juliamiles.com. And I'd love to hear from you and help you if you're interested.
Thank you so much. There's one last question. If you were to look back or something that you know or something new, what is your favorite book that you can recommend women to read?
Oh, my life. I have so many books.
Give us one. Or you can tell us your top 3.
My top 3. Well, at the moment, I love The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And that's very good about helping you distance yourself from yourself almost, separating consciousness from ego. It's quite deep, but it's great. And Grit is a good one. Angela Duckworth. That's a really good book.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. For keeping on going, it's about the journey of resilience. And no, there will be brighter days and you can get through it. But it is a journey and your voice really matters.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time that you spent with us today. All the resources and everything that Julia mentioned, it will be in the comments. So make sure to check the show notes and so you can find her and everything that she said today will be linked in there. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, we got a special treat for you. Join our free Facebook group where you can connect with other amazing women and share your thoughts. Join us by clicking in the link in the show notes. We can't wait to welcome you into our supportive community. And don't forget to come back for our next episode, where we'll be sharing even more inspiring stories, encouraging tips, educational insights, and practical strategies. Oh, and before you go, we have a tiny favor to ask. If you found today's episode uplifting and helpful, please leave us a review. It's like giving us a virtual hug, and it helps other amazing women like you find our show. Plus, it makes us smile from ear to ear. And hey, why stop there? Share the love. Tell your Betsies, your mom, your sister, and even your favorite barista about our podcast. The more, the merrier.